Hey everyone. All right, we're back for Kiss Unplugged, the album that railroaded Carnival of Souls. This should have been released in like 96. This got released instead because, we did Unplugged and all of a sudden a couple of the old band members showed up and it was really good and we want to go out and do a reunion. Well, before the reunion, let's get into what they did on Kiss Unplugged. All right. Okay, so part of the Unplugged series for MTV. I've already covered a couple of these Unplugged albums already. Surprised I didn't do this one when I did all the other ones. Oh. All right. Some songs on here I actually enjoy quite a bit more than the originals. I think the acoustic sound on them is really badass. Some songs on here I actually had to look up because I don't own everything from Kiss. I don't know where everything comes from. I'm a Kiss Greatest Hits fan for the most part. And some of the songs on here, I could see why I really didn't know them because of the album they came from. Anyways, Coming Home opens up this album. That's a good way to start off an acoustic set, really. You know, Coming Home really gets this opened up and going just the way you want it to go. It really does. That was for a song that's not, blistering or anything like that. It's just really nice start. And then we go into Plaster Caster. I love Plaster Caster. This is honestly one of my favorite Kiss songs. I don't care what anybody says. I also know the story of Plaster Caster. And as much as this song uses a double entendre for Plaster Caster, it's meant both ways. But I love, and the bass on this, man, I love the bass, the way it just sits right in there in the pocket on this. Acoustic bass is one of the best. When I was still playing my band, when we were recording songs in the last 2 years we were together, half the time we recorded using an acoustic, not an upright, but a standard acoustic bass. And we just run it through all the effects pedals and stuff like that. Like it had an import electric jacket and whatnot as well, but it was an acoustic bass. And you got so much of a better, thicker sound out of it. And when you listen to Plaster Caster, you can hear exactly what I'm talking about. That beautiful, thick bass acoustic sound. Oh. From there, we go into Going Blind, which is okay. I don't mind it. Not a song I've ever been a fan of, really. Do You Love Me? I don't mind the tune, but it's okay. Then you got Domino. Oh, that was fun. I do like the fact that they made sure to put a couple tracks on here from the Revenge album, which was nice because that would have been the album that would have been closest to this when this came out as a new album. And I'm glad that they didn't decide just to go with all the old classics or to go with, pre-90s stuff. So Sure Know Something. This was one of those ones I had to go and look up because I wasn't sure about this one and where it was from or whatnot. And it's pushing me towards finally maybe pulling the trigger and buying the Dynasty album. Maybe. Because, there's a couple songs on there I don't mind. So I might actually pull the trigger and finally do that. A World Without Heroes, the only song from, what is it, the Book of Elder, or the Temple of the Elder, or the Music of the Elder, Music of the Elders. Only song from there that gets any recognition in this day and age at all. And I gotta say, A World Without Heroes, or like that time period, that concept album, Kissing a concept album. When I look at photos from that time period, I think it was one of Ace's best looks because of how minimalized it was. And it's a shame that it didn't get the love that it could have. It looked better, I think, than the rest of the guys. Then we're at Rock Bottom. Rock Bottom's always a fun tune. See You Tonight. I had to go look on that one, and then discovered it was off the Gene Simmons solo album for Kiss. You know, when they did the 4 solo albums, yeah, that was on there. It gives me no interest in picking up that album. Then we're into I Still Love You, which, you know, this is some of Paul Stanley's best vocal work when it comes to this song. You can see how he got to do a run as the Phantom of the Opera by listening to songs like I Still Love You. Every time I look at you, okay, so at this point, I'm a little bored with all the slower tunes that they're putting on here, you know, whatever. Then we got 2000 Man, Rolling Stones cover. It's a good tune. It's got a good ruckus party vibe to it when they're doing it acoustic, so it's fun that way. Not a song I'm overly huge on, though. Then we're into Beth. Beth. Of course Beth would have to be. It's an acoustic, unplugged thing. Beth has to be there. And then you got Nothing to Lose, which is always a fun tune. And it finishes off with Rock and Roll All Night. Which, you know, that's a trip to hear multiple band members, multiple instruments going at the same time doing rock and roll all night. It's just it's good time. Then you look at the inside jacket. I'm just gonna do this real fun. Okay, so the outside, all right. Then we do this little fully open thing and got a bunch of pictures from the venue. Do that. You get the band, you know, notes, a few notes. And then you got this 20th anniversary. 20th anniversary Kisstory. Oh man. To order in the US, 1-800-905-KISS. Outside of the US, 1-908-219-0177. Exclusive offer, 444 pages from the band's own private collection, £9 per book. 1 foot long, 1 foot wide, hardcover and bound, enclosed in its protective case, shipped to you direct. $158.95 US, $198.95 Canadian. That's not bad at all, actually. $218.95 international, includes shipping and handling fee. I really, you know, if I was in the US, I'd call the phone number just to see what would happen. Send check or money order to Kisstory, P.O. Box 15097, Beverly Hills, California 90210. Limited numbered edition, personally signed by Kiss. Look at all those details. Oh man, not a book I ever picked up. Not a book I would have picked up. I enjoy Kiss. I really do. And realistically, Kiss is one of those bands that they had their place in time and they overstayed their welcome by far. Especially when you look at the number of albums they released in the 70s, the number of the albums they released in the 80s. The 90s ended up almost being a wash because, you know, you got Revenge, Unplugged, Carnival of Souls, and I believe Psycho Circus came out in the 90s, if I remember correctly. That's it, man. You know, I know there was also Kiss Alive 3 in there too, sorry. But like when you think about the fact that there was like, I think only the 3 studio albums in the 90s, and then you've only had what, 2 albums since then? 3 albums since then? You know, Kiss was far better off not doing the reunion or not sticking with the reunion. They probably made money tour-wise with that, and, you know, it translates to the older albums selling more and stuff like that, but they just, to me, really, this was a great idea that went too far for too long, and they really should have gone back to these guys. I mean, especially since Eric Singer was still there. Yeah. My thoughts, my views, my opinions. Let me know what you think down below, guys, in the comments section down below. On your way down there, there's a couple links worth checking out. If you hit the like button, subscribe button, bell for notifications, I'd really appreciate that. Please and thank you. Otherwise, peace, love, take care.